Stop for 1 second. Before you keep listening, answer one question honestly, in your own mind. Do you really know why you are learning English? Not the easy answer. The real one. Because by the end of this episode, you will know exactly why, and that one answer might be the reason you finally stop giving up. Hello and welcome back to English Ignite Podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm really glad you're here. In today's episode, we're going to talk about one big question. Why do you want to learn English? This question looks simple. But it is not always simple. I will be speaking slowly and clearly, so you can follow me, and repeat after me. Many people say, I want to speak English. That is a good answer. But there is a deeper question hiding behind it. Why do you, specifically, want to speak English? Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to study abroad. Maybe you want to travel with confidence. Maybe you want to understand films without subtitles. Maybe you simply want English to feel like a natural part of your life. All of these reasons are real. And here's the thing, your reason changes how you learn, and it decides if you continue. Let me tell you what usually happens. In the beginning, people feel very ready. They buy the course. They download the app. They make a big plan. Everything feels exciting. They want to study every single day. They want to learn 100 new words. They want to speak confidently, and soon. Everything feels new. Everything feels possible. But after a few weeks, that excitement gets quiet. The lessons get harder. There are too many new words to remember. Listening feels difficult. Speaking feels scary. And at this point, many people stop. They tell themselves, maybe I don't really want to learn English after all. But my friend, that is often not true. Usually, they still want it. They are simply tired. The strong feeling has gone quiet, but the wish is still there, underneath. A strong feeling can start you. But only a clear reason can carry you all the way to the end. So let's build that reason together right now, step by step. Tip number 1, make English useful. Think about a key. A key opens a door you couldn't open before. English works the same way. It can open a door to a new job. A door to study abroad. A door to travel without fear. A door to reading important information, joining a meeting, or passing a test. When your reason is useful and clear, learning stops feeling random, it starts feeling like movement towards something real. Let's practice this. Repeat after me. English can open new doors for me. Now you repeat. I know exactly why I am learning. Now you repeat. Every lesson brings me closer to my goal. Now you repeat. Very good. Here's an example. If you need English for travel, you don't need to learn everything. You need to learn how to ask for directions, how to book a room, how to order food, how to read signs at the airport, how to ask about a price. If you need English for work, you focus on writing simple emails, joining a call, explaining an idea clearly, asking a colleague a quick question. If you need English for a test, you focus your energy on reading, listening, writing, and speaking, the 4 skills the test actually measures. Do you see the pattern here? A useful reason doesn't just motivate you, it tells you exactly what to study first. You don't need to learn everything today, my friend. You only need to learn the English you need most right now. But here's the thing, a useful reason alone is not always enough to keep you going on the hard days. There's a second piece you need, and it changes everything. Tip number 2, connect today's small step to tomorrow's big result. Sometimes the result feels far away. A person wants a better job, but that job feels like a distant dream. A person wants to pass a test, but the test date feels far in the future. On those days, today's lesson can feel small, boring, even. You might ask yourself, why am I learning this word? Why does this page matter? At that moment, do this one thing, connect today's small action to your bigger result. Let me say that again, because it matters. Connect today's small action to your bigger result. Say to yourself, this lesson is part of my future job. This 10 minutes of listening is part of my next trip. This one page is one step on my long road. This short email is practice for my real work in English. A long road is never crossed in one big jump, my friend. It is crossed one small step at a time. Each step may feel small on its own, but it still moves you forward, and it still counts. A short story. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Sarah. Sarah wanted English for her job. Every morning, before opening her laptop, she listened to 5 minutes of English. Just 5 minutes. Nothing more. Some days she felt strong and focused. Some days she felt tired and almost skipped it completely. But every single time, she asked herself one simple question first, is this 5 minutes part of my bigger goal? And the answer was always yes. Weeks passed. Then months. Sarah didn't feel like a different person overnight. That's not how it works, my friend. It happened slowly, quietly, almost without her noticing. Then, 1 year later, Sarah led her first meeting entirely in English. Not perfect English. Real English. Confident English. And it all started with 5 small minutes, repeated every single day, connected to a reason she never forgot. Repeat this line with me. Small steps, every day, lead to real change. Now you repeat. I don't need to be perfect. I need to continue. Now you repeat. That story is powerful, but the next reason we're about to talk about might be the strongest one of all. Because it's not about a job or a test. It's about people. Tip number 3, learn English to connect with people. Some people don't learn English only for work or for a test. They learn it to understand other lives. To hear different ideas. To talk with people from other countries. To understand jokes, feelings, music, films. Language is not only grammar and vocabulary, my friends, language carries life inside it. People use it to talk about family, food, fear, love, and hope. They use it for the small, ordinary moments too, a comment at a coffee shop, a quick message to a new friend, a question at the airport. When you learn English, you open a door into a whole new part of the world. You begin to hear how other people think. You begin to understand what matters to them. And slowly, you can share what matters to you, to your own story, your own country, your own life. But here is something honest I need to say. This reason can also bring fear. You may want to talk to someone, but feel shy. You may worry about making mistakes. You may think, my English isn't good enough. They won't understand me. They might laugh. If you've ever felt this, and if you're still listening right now, I already know something about you. You care enough to keep going, even with that fear. That already makes you different from someone who quit. Here's the truth. You don't need perfect English to connect with someone. People connect through simple words, a smile, one honest question. Try this with me. Hello, where are you from? Now you repeat. I'm learning English. Thank you for your patience. Now you repeat. Can you say that again, slowly, please? Now you repeat. A short, imperfect conversation is worth more than a perfect sentence sitting alone in a textbook. That conversation is alive. And that's the moment English stops being a school subject and starts being a bridge between two real people. Now, my friends, I want to give you something deeper. Something I saved for later in this episode on purpose, because it might be the most important idea in the whole lesson. Tip number 4, learn English for the person you want to become. Close your eyes for a moment, or just imagine this quietly. Picture yourself 1 year from now. Maybe 3 years from now. What can this future version of you do in English? Can this person speak calmly in a meeting? Travel alone without fear? Watch a film and understand it without subtitles? Talk to a stranger and feel comfortable? Look closely at this picture. Where is this person? What are they doing? How do they feel? Maybe calm. Maybe free. Maybe simply proud. This is bigger than one course, my friend. Bigger than one book. This is about the life you are building. Maybe you want to become someone who speaks with less fear. Someone who travels alone with confidence. Someone who doesn't quit when learning gets hard. Someone who reads a book, watches a film, or helps a stranger all in English, without thinking twice. Someone who, one day, looks back and says, I said I would do this, and I did it. Hold that picture for a moment. Really hold it. Because that person isn't a stranger, my friend. That person is you, just a little further down the road. But listen carefully, because this next part matters just as much. That future picture cannot stay only in your imagination. It needs a home in your actual day, today. You can have the biggest, most beautiful vision of your future self, but you still need to listen for 10 minutes. You still need to read one page. You still need to say a few sentences out loud, even if they're not perfect. Every small action is a message to yourself. When you listen to English, you say, this matters to me. When you speak, even with mistakes, you say, I am becoming who I want to be. And when you return to English after a hard week, you say something even more powerful, I still care about my future. Here's something people often get backwards. They wait to feel like a good learner before they act. When I feel ready, I'll study. When I feel confident, I'll speak. But it usually works the opposite way. The action comes first. You study, and then, slowly, you start to feel like a learner. You speak, and then, slowly, you start to feel more confident. The feeling follows the action. It doesn't lead it. Repeat this with me, and really mean it. I don't need to feel ready. I only need to begin. Now you repeat. My actions today are building my future. Now you repeat. There's also a second picture worth looking at honestly, the person you don't want to become. Maybe you don't want to be someone who always says, "I'll start next month." Maybe you don't want to miss a great opportunity because your English wasn't ready. Maybe you don't want to feel lost and silent in a moment that mattered. Maybe you don't want to look back in 5 years and say, "I wanted to learn English, but I never really started." This picture can push you forward too, but be careful with it. A little fear can move you. Too much fear can crush you. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm too late," or "other learners are better than me," that weight will eventually stop you completely, instead of pushing you forward. So use both pictures wisely. Look at the life you want. Remember the life you don't want. Then choose one small, calm action today.